All right, hello everybody, and a happy Monday. Coming to you from New Orleans, Louisiana. So we left Panama City yesterday on Sunday morning at about 10 a.m. and we stopped in Gulfport, Mississippi to take on some fuel. We took on 47.4 gallons of diesel, and I was excited only to spend $5.19 per gallon. That was a bargain. Basically $245.95 worth of gas. Here's a good opportunity to check out Clark getting his big drink of diesel at a Love's truck stop. Check this out. All right, here we are with Clark at a truck stop at a Love's travel stop, just getting ready to fuel her up before we have a short ride on into NOLA. Here we are at a Love's truck stop, a Love's travel stop. Yep, Clark gets his gas with all the big rigs. And he gets a lot of street creds here at the truck stop. So good for Clark. All right, so I have a special card that I use that makes it very convenient for me to go into the truck lanes. And it's called the Open Roads app from TSD Logistics. Basically, this is a card that truck drivers and some RVers with diesel engines use. And there's some significant benefits to using the card. First of all, they provide discounts of up to 30 cents per gallon. So to be fair, the prices that I show you are the pre-discounted prices. I end up getting a credit back by using that card, which is exciting because I can save more money. So $5.19, I might actually get a little bit closer to $5 or maybe a little bit lower. So if you were to pull into a truck lane without this card, and these cards are important to have because you'd have to go inside and prepay for the gas. But by using this card, you simply put your card in the pump and you put in your control number that they give you, and the money pulls right out from your card, which is a stored value card, which is coming from, you load it back up with your own debit card for fuel. But it enables convenience, gets you in and out of these truck stops, and also discounts. So as you can see, this is a much easier process. And I got to tell you that whenever I go to truck stops, that Clark has many admirers at the truck stops. So I've had the opportunity to meet some amazing people, some great truck drivers, and I always let them know how appreciative I am for what they do. Driving those big rigs, moving goods around the country is not easy. So I always try to look out for the big trucks out there, as I know from experience that many cars will try to cut you off. They'll get in front of you. They don't give consideration to the fact that you are extremely heavy vehicle, and you cannot stop on a dime. So when you're driving, keep this in mind as you see those big trucks out there. I know it's very frustrating myself driving such a big heavy vehicle that sometimes people they don't have a care in the world and they just kind of cut right in front of you. So many truck drivers love Clark because it too is a big truck. It's powerful and is made for long distance driving. So Clark has a lot of street cred with the truck driving community for sure. And Clark and I continue to look out for those truck drivers on the road and let them in, give them room when they need it so they can change lanes. And I'll explain more of that in another episode of best practices when driving around big vehicles out on the road. So let's talk Ironman. My son Drew, he's now an Ironman. So let me turn this phone off. There we go. He is now an Ironman. And what an amazing weekend. This weekend, watching him compete in Panama City, Florida in the Ironman competition. Well, he did extremely well, and just looking at his stats. By the way, that's a 2.2 mile swim in the Gulf of Mexico. And then moving on to 120 miles of biking. And then basically running a marathon. So imagine that. Once you've swam 2.2 miles, and you biked 120 miles. Now it's time to do a marathon. Pretty amazing. And in his age group, he finished 30th out of 169 people. He finished 212 overall out of 1,882 participants. So extremely proud of him, especially this being his first Ironman competition. he was amazing. He did amazing. Take a look at some of this amazing footage from over the weekend.
Right, more from Ironman Village, and more transition bags there, and lots of bicycles out there. So it's going to be a pretty exciting event. Amazed at all the Ironmen out there, and women, Ironmen and women, doing some amazing things. Go get them!
Once again, congratulations, Drew. You are completely incredible. You are awesome. And by the way, I assumed that Drew's age group, the 30 to 34, Drew's 31, but I thought that 30 to 34 age group would be the largest group of registrants. Nope. Much to my surprise and shock and feeling of inadequacy, frankly, the largest age group was 50 to 54. That's pretty amazing, and I have mad respect for all the men and women who go out there and train for this, and who competed this past weekend and made this happen. They are truly amazing Ironmen, amazing athletes, all the men and women out there competing for this. So now back to our trip from Panama City, Florida to New Orleans yesterday. We traveled a total of 319 miles west on Interstate 10, and it was a smooth ride. As I mentioned, we left at around 10 a.m. I was trying to be on the road no later than 9:15 a.m., but we had a maintenance delay. Our back driver's side cargo compartment, where the electrical access is, was not locking and latching completely. So, had to do some minor repairs so the door didn't come flying open during our journey. So I gave it a temporary fix for now, but I still need to do some more permanent repairs on it. You got to keep in mind that when you're driving a big rig like Clark down the highway, it's kind of like having a daily earthquake in your house, right? Things are going to shift and rattle. We're very careful about how we pack things and how we put things in place. And Clark's very solid, but you're still moving a big vehicle down the road. So that shifting is going to happen, and it can be hard on the hardware throughout. So, just think about how long things have to last. Like, I know that the air conditioner, that little repair was probably from the pump rattling around, and it created an issue. So things will shift and break more than if they were just sitting stationary. Now, staying at an RV park in a big city, too, is very different. Some of the other quiet and peaceful parks that we've been to, you've seen that in Panama City, you've seen it in Lumberton, North Carolina, but check out this RV park where we are now in the French Quarter. It's called the French Quarter RV Park, which is about a half a mile from Bourbon Street, and a bit different than most of the ones that we stay at, but still a great experience. Take a look at this.
All right, we're coming at you from the French Quarter RV Park. A bit different of an RV park than we used to stay in. You can see there's billboards here in the city. There's the big city of New Orleans behind us. Towards Canal Street, French Quarter. Let's see, we have some highway behind us. A little bit different. It's got good tight security. Guard in front. Got some pretty cool rigs in here. Some travel trailers, Class A. There's a Super C over there. Some Class Bs. So, pretty interesting. The park is actually nestled down there. See him down in the distance. He's actually right next to his cousin, another renegade Valencia. But, pretty interesting view from the French Quarter RV resort. It's a class people.
So there we go. What do you think of that? That's pretty cool, huh? Sitting right here in the big city. But let's take a look at, we're not going to get to all the states we passed through today, but I'll do some of that tomorrow. I'll do Mississippi and Louisiana tomorrow. But I want to talk about the state of Sweet Home, Alabama, and where they stand in cannabis legislation. So cannabis in Alabama is illegal for recreational use. First-time possession of personal amounts is a misdemeanor, and it's punishable by up to a year in prison and a fine of $6,000 and a mandatory 6 months driver's license suspension. So repeat offenses and possession with intent to sell are indeed felonies. So medical use was legalized in 2021 through a bill that was passed by the legislature and signed by Governor Kay Ivey. Prior to this approval, there were bills enacted in 2014 called Carley's Law and 2016 called Lenny's Law. That allowed for the use of CBD oil to treat seizure disorders. And I can tell you that's very important for folks that are suffering from seizure disorders, and the science has been pretty cool. In fact, the FDA has approved drugs for the use of that specifically, but nothing else. Epidiolex, for example, is a great example of how CBD is used for seizure disorder. Now, last year's last year's session saw a medical cannabis bill become law, and we are looking forward to the continued cannabis reform this year in the state. On January 11th, Alabama's 2022 legislative session began, and there's still some hope that a decriminalization bill will be reconsidered by the legislature. But so far, no bills have been filed to make changes to the medical program. However, Senator Bobby Singleton, Democrat, has again introduced a decriminalization bill, SB 160, would reduce the penalty for possession of less than 2 ounces to a violation and a $250 fine for a first offense, $500 for a second offense, and $750 for a third and subsequent offenses. Third and subsequent offenses would be considered a Class D felony, but would carry no jail time. So again, under current law, possession of cannabis, even in a small amounts for personal use in the state of Alabama, is a misdemeanor that carries a penalty of up to a year in jail and or a fine of up to $6,000. So SB 160 also contains some expungement provisions for past offenses. So the bill is expected to receive a hearing by the Judiciary Committee soon. But in the meantime, Alabama is one of only 19 states that still jails its residents for simple possession of cannabis. So we had a lot to cover this weekend, and from the Ironman journey to our journey into New Orleans and a look at Alabama. So again, tomorrow I'll focus on Mississippi and Louisiana law. But in the meantime, more fun and work here in New Orleans, Louisiana. So thanks for joining us in the latest of the incredible adventures of Clark. See you tomorrow, Tuesday.